The Wanamaker was lost, but now it is found. It is PGA Championship week, baby. All right, we are back. Welcome back to the Swoosh Life podcast. And it is PGA Championship week. We are ready to go. We have a very special episode. As you can see, we have Ty and Tony Martinez from Keaton Park down in Dallas, Texas. And we are ready to go on this special episode as we preview the PGA Championship coming up on episode, I think, 91 of the Swoosh Life podcast. Crazy, Keith, but how are you doing?
Yeah, we got Matt missing in action, everybody, but you guys might hear my voice a little bit more because you know what? I really don't talk that much on here. So, but I think Gummy and I are still coming down from the high of the Masters a month ago. And what do we get? 4 weeks later, we bump right into the 108th PGA Championship. And what better than two of our friends that we met 2 years ago down at that magical place in Augusta? We got to know these guys. We follow them all over the place. But with Ty and Tony, it's a pleasure to have both of you on here. It's a big week for you guys. I know this means a lot to you. So, Tony, how you feeling first?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having us. Feeling great. You know, it's for PGA members, we consider it our championship. So it's always a big week and looking forward to it.
Ty, how are you feeling about the PGA this week?
I'm feeling great. Yeah, I mean, like Tony said, as a PGA member, this is a fun one for us, and looking forward to watching the guys in action this week. And great to see you guys. You know, this is one of those rare relationships that we have where we actually met in person and not in this environment. So it's good to see you guys. First time I'm seeing you virtually. You look better on virtual.
Yes. I know, very excited. We met down in Augusta at the Nike party, which is awesome. And if you guys don't know about Keaton Park in Dallas, it's very laced within the sneaker culture and everything like that. So this felt like a very great marriage between talking, everything like that. But the best part is that Tony and Ty are both really, really great at what they do. So Ty is the head golf pro, and then Tony was PGA of America National Director from 2018 to 2021. And so they'll have a little bit of insight of talking about what happens on the PGA Tour and the PGA Championship with PGA members, all that stuff. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to do a 3-2-1 with Ty. We did one with Tony. If you guys saw that on our Instagram. Saw that with Matt in Augusta, and that was awesome. So Ty, we'll get into our 3-2-1 with you. And so we're going to ask you your 3 favorite Nike shoes right now and see what you got.
So any Nike shoe is how I'm going to interpret that question. Probably number one for me are the Niges. I grew up a Nigel Houston fan, and the shoe that he has developed over the last 10 years or so is just one of my favorites. Breathable, super comfortable, and it's actually good for golf swings too. If you count it as Nike, I gotta throw in Jordan 1. And then recently I've really liked, I'm gonna get slapped for this because I don't know the actual name of it, but the Scottie shoe. I've really liked that. The Victory Pro, I think it is, or Victory
The Victory
Tour.
Pro 4.
Victory Pro, yeah. I love that
Victory
shoe.
Pro
It's super
4.
comfortable.
Yep.
It kind of has that stability for the tech side of a golf shoe, and I've been loving that shoe.
Yeah, we'll get into ranking that shoe a little bit later because it is part of the NRG pack that Nike did release for the PGA Championship this week down at Aronimink Golf Club, and there's a story behind it that we'll get into a little bit later. But all right, two favorite Nike athletes. Can be golf, can be all over the board, could be of history. Maybe leave Tiger out of this because we all know that that's kind of one of our favorites, right? But so 2 favorite Nike athletes.
I would probably say Scottie Scheffler. And if I have to go golf, and in the past it was Anthony Kim, and so Anthony Kim and Scottie, and then probably the current two athletes at the top, whether it's golf or not, would be Nyjah and Scottie. Just because, Nyjah just
Awesome.
slammed really
Great.
hard, and
Yes.
he deserves some respect for that.
I love it. All right. And we're gonna do like pretty much the same ones that we gave your dad at Augusta, but number one golfer, Nike golfer 2 that you think can win the PGA Championship this week. Scottie is defending champ, right?
Super boring answer, obviously. Being from Dallas, seeing Scottie playing growing up, and just his odds overall. I mean, he's pretty sure he's top 10 in his major starts in the last few years. He's 75% of the time he's top 10. So you gotta pick Scottie for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into that a little bit later if you guys stay on for our victory circle, as we like to call it, or winner circle. Man, it's been a while since we've done this show. I am rusty, I feel like, today, Keith, but that's okay.
You're rusty,
I was on mute, guys, at the beginning of it, and they're just sitting there waiting for me, and I did a whole intro on mute. So, but those are great answers. Thank you, Ty. Keith, you got a 3, 2, 1 for Tony?
Yeah. Tony, we'll start off with the 3, 2, 1. Ty, those were great answers. I like the little shout out to Anthony Kim, though. It's good to see him playing again and everything. So it's pretty cool. What a comeback story that kind of is. And
Yeah, he had a great
I just
weekend
saw a
last
stat on
weekend.
him, just to sidetrack a little bit. Yeah, I know. Just to sidetrack, he's getting the world ranking points now. He's finally in the top 200 of the world golf rankings. It's crazy just to see that. So
yeah, I saw that today.
I think it was today or something. We were recording on a Monday night, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's been AK's been a good friend to Keaton Park, and we're certainly proud of his comeback, and happy to consider him a friend, and it's been cool.
That's awesome.
So we'll do 3, 2, 1. We'll try to tie it a little bit, Tony, into the PGA and everything like that. So 3, your top 3 courses that you've played, maybe along the PGA Championship, or just three of your favorite PGA courses.
I would say, I'm a total homer, so I'm really looking forward to having been on the board and from the Northern Texas section. I'm really looking forward to the 2027 PGA Championship here in at PGA Frisco in Northern Texas section. So that for sure. And Kiawa.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Kiawa for sure, and I've got a soft spot for Bethpage.
So do we. Keith and I played that 2 years ago, which was awesome, and walked black, and that was a fun time. So
yeah, that's usually a yearly round for me. I get down there pretty quickly, about 2.5 hours, 3 hours if I take the ferry and stuff. So Long Island's pretty close to me, so try to get down there for at least one round.
Valhalla special, and for me it's mostly one that PGA course. When I think of the PGA Championship, I think of Baltusrol. For me it's not nitpicking the great layout or this or that. It's like memories and times that I remember, specifically to times being on the PGA board or times with my sons or my family at the PGA Champ, and that's where that's kind of where my head goes when I'm picking those.
Cool. So number 2, kind of maybe a 2-part question or anything like that, but do you have like your 2 favorite students you have ever taught? Anybody famous or anybody personal, anything family or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say my favorites, I would give it 3.
Perfect. More the merrier.
The most notable would be Johnson Wagner.
Yep.
Sweet.
We heard some stories down in Augusta. I'm not sure we'll repeat them on today's show, but we heard some stories with Johnson in Augusta, which was awesome to hear. So
great. He was very good to me and taught me a lot. and I would say Rich Barcelo is from my hometown in Tucson. We grew up at the same uni, and it's because of him that I kind of got, he became a great player and had his PGA Tour card and started working with him. He's now the director of instruction at Blue Jack National in the Houston area, and so without him, the relationships, the PGA Tour relationships, being in a municipal golf operator, low end daily fee operator my entire career, that doesn't butt up against coaching elite players or tour players. So he made that introduced me into that world, and it was really fun. And then I would say Armando Villarreal is Mexican golfer. He's from Mexico. I met him when he was in high school, and he played in a couple PGA Tour events. We spent time on the PGA Tour Americas, and we're like family. We've become very close. So when I think of the three professionals that have touched me the most, I would say it's those three.
Awesome. Last one for you. Kind of cool because I know you guys are both teachers and everything like that. But it's like, what is one of your most favorite things to do with your student or anybody that you're working with? Is it on the range? Is it short game area? Is it putting? Like, what's one of the favorite things that you like to do or you like to teach your students?
For me, it's easy. It's short game. That's kind of my thing. So when I worked with Johnson and Rich Barcelo and any other, full-time professional, full-time tour player, it's short game. Or if I meet an elite player, it's generally a referral for short game. Not something I set out to do. I just think that my style and my approach is instinctive, not very mechanical, visual, and I think most players are accepting of that when it comes to short game. So I think it just worked out to be a match.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Thank you for all that. I know we're probably going to get into more behind the stories and everything like that. So.
All right, Ty, tell us a little bit about Keaton Park and the kind of the culture you guys got down there and a little bit more about yourself too, because I think like there's some really cool stuff that I think you're doing. I wouldn't say in this younger generation, but you're driving race cars with people, you're teaching Mike the Miz, you're getting them fitted. Like I got to hear more about the Ty story here and how you kind of got into it, following your dad and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an obvious head start for me, just being the son of such a pronounced PGA member, and so I think that what I want to do with that head start is be different, and with my dad kind of allowing me to be different and Keaton Park to be different, it's just boosted that head start in my career. Of course, another head start for me and anybody in DFW right now in this industry is that we have PGA of America right down the road. So because of that, I've got a lot of the media team at PGA of America. They're coming out to Keaton all the time. We have a Tuesday night scramble every week, and a lot of those guys play out here. And so I think just through them seeing my personality at the Tuesday night scramble, being able to talk to a group of people, I've been afforded opportunities like getting to meet the Miz, do a photo shoot with him, drive race cars with Ben Barcoat, who's an endurance racer for Team Lexus, a PGA of America partner. So I think there's an obvious head start there, but I think it's what you do with that head start. And I would say with Keaton Park, kind of the vibe we have here, we're just not scared to be different. And it really all started when I came to Keaton probably about 6 years ago. Of course, when I was younger, I would watch cards, I would watch the shop. But when I truly came on board at Keaton as a golf professional, um, my dad and I were in California for some sort of family trip. We have family out in Carlsbad, and we were at a record shop, and I was into records at the time. It was kind of a fad at the time, and we found this Snoop Dogg poster with Tupac and Snoop Dogg, and it's a famous photo that they took at a party. And my dad was like, "Hey, what if we put this in Keaton and like just tried a new vibe at Keaton Park?" And that was kind of the catalyst that just strung along everything we've done since. So now we've got Wu-Tang on the wall. We've got Selena, we've got Willie Nelson, so we really have embodied our music culture here at Keaton Park because it's a way for us to connect with our customers that walk through the door. So we've got vinyls on display, we've got posters in the shop, and that's where it all started. And from there, we said, okay, what else can we connect with customers on? And Nike was just one of those brands that like it was a no brainer. It's a home run, right? They're bringing back all these vintage pieces, the Air Max 90s. The at the time when we were getting on board, they had the is it the 97s? Yeah, the 97s. So they had all these vintage pieces.
Oh yeah,
and
like
Jordan,
the silver bullets.
yeah, the silver bullets, and it was like this is a shoe that not only is the younger generation freaking out about right now because Billie Eilish and whoever's wearing them, but also the guys my dad's age, and we're in an urban area. We're in the city of Dallas. We're in Dallas proper. And so, you know, there is an urban culture and there is an age group that remembers the 97s coming out and they remember those things. And so I bring up music and I bring up Nike just to kind of show that those are two things in our golf shop that we use to connect with the customer, not necessarily something that we're using to capitalize on business wise, other than let's build a relationship and connect with customers. So I think if you've been to Keaton Park, you can definitely say that it's unique. And it's hard to describe in words why we're different, but those are some of the things that make us different.
Now, was this like when this came about and you guys kind of started that cultural shift a little bit? Was it struggling? Was it pre-COVID? Like, and then we just, you needed some way to like catch on to the boom a little bit, or was it just this is our own personal taste and this is how we, want to change just how we're doing, or did it kind of just seem to line up with it, or was there like a, hey, things are going to start shifting, so we need to catch up a little bit kind of thing? Just trying to understand like the timeline of it all. Cause I think it's super awesome and super great, but like, we see like the grow the game, we see the shrink the game, kind of commentary now in golf. And so I'm just curious on where you guys kind of landed within that. Were you ahead of the curve or like what made
we
you
were definitely
that
in the grow the
decision
game
truly come
mindset.
about?
Yeah. Definitely in the grow the game mindset.
Yeah,
There were a
love it.
lot of golf courses in our area that were closing down at the time. But I think, my dad obviously can speak more to the hard times of it. I came into the golf industry right at the tail end, right before COVID, was when I was doing my PGA book work and all of that stuff. But it was definitely, we were trying to stand out. There's a lot of places closing. The business wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as it was 5 years prior. Um, I think that we were very lucky that we started that approach before COVID, because had we not,
No, I
it
think so
would have
too.
looked a little bit more bandwagon. And I think that because we predate that COVID boom and our culture that we created predates that, I think everybody kind of sees us as a pretty genuine, like they can see through that we're not jumping on the bandwagon. Like we truly believe in this. And it was scary when we started it. We didn't know. We were honestly being true to ourselves. My dad mentions Rich Barcelo. He was a big influence on me. I can remember following my dad around the PGA Tour with Rich, and I think Rich was in between sponsors, and he had this rangefinder that was a previous sponsor. And so, what does he do? He slaps a Vans off the wall sticker on it. You know what I mean? And like we're listening to Nelly in the car on the way to
Yep.
the tournament. And it's like, okay, we as golfers, we kind of hide that side of ourselves once we get in those gates. And once we get to the short grass, we kind of hide that version of ourselves. But, you know, it for us it wasn't calculated. It was more like let's just be ourselves. And then COVID boom hit and we were just very lucky that, we were with the times before that boom hit. Um, but I think that
Yeah.
I would say that
Yeah.
I
me
wouldn't
and
even
my
say
dad
with the
both
times.
are,
I would.
yeah, I mean, we're traditional golfers still, right? Like we still wear polos to work. We still,
Yeah.
but we do embrace and we accept, however golf fits your mold.
Yeah, if I can chime in there, it's fun listening to
Absolutely.
Ty, and just to think of at the beginning when you first asked the question, it is, we're a few years in, but the fact that I work with my son and we're both PGA members, and just that I've got uh, we've got three kids, all have worked in the golf industry or connected to golf. We've always been a family business. We are a true mom and pop. Gretchen and my daughter Emma and our son Calvin, who played professionally for 2 years on the Mexican tour. My daughter is in Honolulu in Hawaii, working with the first tee of Hawaii and the Hawaii State Junior Golf Association.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, that's who we are.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just Ty and I work together daily, and it's just super cool. And I've always been relatively progressive, I think, for golf professionals, just because um, while it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do from probably the age of 13, um, I wanted to be a PGA golf professional, period. And I wanted to be at public golf because that's what captured me.
Yeah.
Right.
But I always say that I'm not a golf nerd. I just love the life and the culture and the people and the game.
Yeah.
And um, I have never been I suck at the rules of golf. Right. So,
Love that.
here's a PGA member, of over 30 years, a national board member of the PGA of America. And I am saying out loud, I suck at the rules of golf.
And he knows
And
the
I think
rules
that
by
if you were,
heart, but he doesn't follow
I would say that if you were grading PGA golf professionals on who's the rules expert and who has brought more people into the game, I'd like to be known for the second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not poo-pooing anything else. So back to the question that you said, we are traditional golf professionals, right? I am very pro PGA. Obviously, I'm not one that complains about the association. It's given me a lot in my life and a life with my family. And we're not different for the sake of being different. We're different because we have a mission to grow the game and enjoy the game. And we have a tagline, golf can be what you want it to be. And I think by default, Ty specifically, because we work hand, side by side, but my whole family, all I ever talked about was how do we grow the game? How do we get more customers? How do we help people get better at golf? And so it was baked in the cake. And I think that the instinct that Ty had, he didn't even know he had. So he said something that was so extremely powerful, and it just hit me. And he said it years ago. He said, for decades, growing the game meant growing golf culture, which means teaching junior golfers how to shake a hand after, fix your ball mark,
Yeah.
the etiquette, the your shirt's tucked in, and all of that, which is totally fine. Which obviously that happens, and then Ty said, but if we grow our culture, growing the game becomes much easier. So trying to sell the culture first is hard. You don't catch many fish that way.
Right.
But if you grow your culture, meaning if we create an environment where people connect, if I can connect with you over your shoes or over music or over whatever, anything that would cross gender or age demographics, well, then the golf side's easy.
Right. Exactly.
Because then it's easy for you to ask questions. So, like we always say, what are the things that you talk to strangers about? Their car, their clothes, a band.
What's the weather like today?
Music, right. So the more that we can create that environment where people want to talk, and then it's kind of baked in the cake now. Someone walks in, if they're wearing Freshies and they're Freshies, we're gonna say something like,
oh yeah,
you got those.
Yeah.
And it just changes the whole attitude. And I would say, Ty gets a lot of credit for that, just because we're straddling both generations, and it makes it easier.
Yeah. It's cool to see. I think we relate to that too on this podcast a lot, that this is a podcast about a very niche thing. We've always said that it's a Nike Golf podcast, but it is easy and it is fun to talk about the things that you enjoy talking about. And so when it becomes like a easy thing for you guys, when it's shoes and it's music, because those things are easy, and that bleeds into like your everyday life and what is known, then the bounds of like professionalism in a sense like kind of erode, and you break down those walls that get put up when people are thinking of like a professional or taking a lesson or anything like that. Like it's really nice to see that kind of thing, because I go into some of these clubs around here and it's stuffy and it feels very like sometimes like I don't belong here, like stuff like that, and that's not how you like you want to feel when you're walking to play a golf course or a game that you love, right? You want the reciprocated feelings that you feel towards golf coming back at you. And so I think it's such a simple thing, but it's such a thing that like sometimes doesn't exist in the golf world. And I love to see that you guys are trying to break that down,
Gumby, how much
each year. I think that, yeah.
Hey, you mentioned like it's kind of stuffy walking into a golf shop. And I hear that, like that specific word all the time describing golf shops. And I totally agree with it.
Yeah.
But how much do you think that's different than like if you were inexperienced going rock climbing, or if you were inexperienced going, and doing anything as an amateur? Like, do you think that we're worse in golf to an extent, or do you think it's just something as a novice?
No, I don't think that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's more of like the novice and the unknown. I think like you can I walked into a club. I used to belong to a private club up here, and it was more of it felt more of like a public course that was private, not more of like a like stuffy like course. Because there is like in this area there is like a very pay 30 grand for initiation kind of course here and stuff like that. This was definitely not that. And within the first week they know your name and you're welcoming, and they're talking to you and all that stuff, and the people know your member number, all that stuff. So it's not that. I think there is just sometimes when you do tend to enter into a new like course sometimes that you don't know or understand, there can be this like stigma around it that like you're entering. Sometimes I compare it to like entering like a bar with a lot of locals in it, right? They're gonna kind of look at you being like, who's this guy? Like it feels sometimes only like locals only, right? Like, and so it's more of that, but then there's a lot of great people in golf too, right? We've met you guys. We met through Danny originally, and Danny was a friend of the podcast and brought us down to Augusta a couple of years ago. And so I think it's stuff like that where like this community becomes pretty like, this is probably our third time ever talking, right? We talked in Augusta 2 years ago. We talked this year in Augusta, and now we're here. And it feels like we already know you guys so well, and you're already friends and like almost family to the podcast, you know? And I think that's where golf truly stands out, is that it is probably like you play with somebody new. It can be intimidating on the first tee, trying to hit that first tee shot with somebody you don't know. But by the fourth hole, you're being like, yep, that's good from 4 feet. You know, you're chumming it up and you're talking. And I think that's what like golf is all about. And it's just fun to see that you guys do that in such a different way than I think other courses are, because you do bring more of the culture side in. And that to me is what's like important, because I don't think that you guys were just ahead of it. If I look back, I knew before I even knew you guys, I knew what Keaton Park was, you know, and I think that is like cool, because I find you guys as the OGs and the people that started this sort of boom of culture into it, right? Like 6-7 years ago, Malbon was just a company doing, you know, Nike shirts with their logos on it, right? And now they're this whole like giant wave of something else, blending culture and fashion into the daily life of golfers. And I think like it doesn't start without people like you guys pulling something out of you and bringing it to the people. And then that like snowball effects into more and more of what we're seeing on the daily in golf. And I just think it's so cool. So
yeah, I love that analogy of walking into what feels like a locals only bar.
Yeah, that's
Right.
cool.
And I do think that it's just like anything else. If you're new or you're an outsider, it feels like there's a barrier. But I don't think that as an industry we've done ourselves any favors.
I agree.
Yeah.
Just because in golf we tend to lead with the rules. We start with the rules, like,
yeah, here are the rules of golf,
there.
right? Yeah.
Right. And I tell people all of the time, you know, I just think that we kind of brainwash, you know. I have so many dads that have kids that say, oh, one of my son or my daughter needs to take lessons, or they got there's this qualifying aspect to golf. Like, I can't really get into the sport until I'm qualified, right? Until I understand, and I always say, if you ask someone, hey, do you want to play golf or do you want to go golfing? They always say, I don't know how, or I haven't learned, right?
Yeah.
And if you ask someone if they want to go fishing and they've never fished, their reaction is a little bit different. Well, yeah, I'd love to go. Will you take me? Do you have a pole for me?
Yeah.
And so we kind of, I think just recently, within the last decade or so, we've done a better job of the game being a little more inviting and more inclusive, to where if you show up, we're going to receive you better than we used to.
Yeah. It's funny you say that about like dads and like teaching and lessons, and Keith and I both have daughters, and we took my daughter to play mini golf for like pretty much like the first time. She's played I think a little bit before us, and trying to get her to hold the club and not hit off the toe and all that stuff. And the funny thing is it's on the first hole. She's hit it about 1,000 times, and I feel like old me or I've seen other people be like, no, you have to like wait your turn, do this, do that, do that. And I was just like go have fun. Like, and she got to the fin, she got it in the hole, and she just goes, sports. And I'm just like, it was the funniest thing. And if she wants, I would love for her to learn golf if she wants to. If she wants to learn golf, then we're gonna start. And I love the short game as well. As Keith knows, we call it Gumby golf because I am not the
That's what he's
longest off
got.
the tee. I'm not a great iron player, but I will scramble my butt off because I feel like I have pretty good hands. I can chip it in, chip it close, and that's how I save par and make a lot of help that way. And so I always said, like, if we start teaching her, we start at the green, we then work our way back to chipping, and we work our way back and work from the green forward backwards instead of like the tee box forward. That's just kind of my philosophy when we start teaching, if they want to do it. I think Scotty's
so
my other one,
qualified.
and I think Scotty's going to be the actual like athlete possibly. So
Yeah,
You
for sure.
say, you say that now.
I know.
You're super qualified, and like I say, I use the example of that dad, right? That same dad that says that his 7-year-old or 8-year-old has to see me for golf lessons, which, of course, we're going to help anyone that wants help.
Yeah.
That dad is like a 10 to 15 handicap, and is a golf nut. Like, that's a good golfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't think he can teach his child golf, but he's the volleyball coach, and he's never played volleyball once in his life. But he goes, oh yeah, I can help coach volleyball to a bunch of 8-year-olds. That's no big deal, right? But we've created this notion that said dad can't help a young kid into the game. So
yeah.
All right, we talked about qualifying a little bit. So, have you guys, the PGA Championship you said is your championship, right? There's the 20 qualify, the core bridge, 20 players. Obviously, I think Michael Block's probably the most known of this grouping over the last couple of years due to what he did at Oak Hill back in 2023, playing with Rory and in the year that Brooks won it there. And so, have you guys tried to qualify, and have you, like, what is your story around playing for the PGA Championship and stuff like that? Ty, we'll go to you first.
That's funny. Like, because about 30 minutes before this, my wife was like, what if they ask you if you ever want to play in the PGA Championship? And I was like, they're not going to ask me that.
Yes.
No, man, like it's honestly, it's not something on my radar really. I know that it's something that can be done, and I'll never say never. But as far as where I'm concerned, like, I love doing what I do here at Keaton Park, and competing just isn't on my radar. Now, competing with the guys around here for $10 for 18 holes, like, I'm all for it, but I'm right where I want to be here at Keaton Park, and competing on that level just isn't on my radar.
I have played in our qualifier lots of times.
Yeah.
Have I tried to qualify for the PGA Championship? That's a different story, right? So the you know, there's been years or stretches where I was more competitive at the local level, and then, you know, other times life gets in the way. But the local qualifiers, to get it to the PGA Professional Championship, you have to qualify. So the size of your local field helps determine how many spots then advance, and or spots are available for your local. So just, you know, to me as a PGA golf professional, and certainly someone that is in a leadership role, to play in the local qualifier to try to advance and expand our field. That was a little bit more of the angle and the obligation, not thinking, you know.
Yeah.
I did often wonder, like, well, what am I going to do if I advance? now I've got you know, I don't know how that's going to go.
Now you got to practice. You got a short game here, putting everything. You just got to go full bore.
But I think it's amazing. You know, I really appreciate the question, because I think if we had this podcast just even a couple years ago, that's not even a question. But why is it a question now? It's a question now because our championship to get the 20 qualifiers, it's on the Golf Channel.
Yeah.
And we know
Right.
Michael Block, and we know Ben Kern, and we know a few guys, and that says a lot to how we've grown that. And our major, it's the only all-professional major. It's only pros in
Right.
the PGA
No
Championship.
amateurs.
And that's the only one. And it's arguably the strongest field in major championships year after year. So it's pretty cool.
I think it's awesome just to kind of see how like each major has its own sort of thing, right? Like Augusta is its own like invitational almost, right? Like year after year, champions come back. The PGA is the only professional one. The U.S. Open is qualifying through local
right?
like qualifiers, and anyone is open to the national open, right? And then the British or just the Open now, it brings in that whole other population from like across the pond and everything like that, which I think is really cool. So we'll shout out Ty's wife, Madison. She's actually been in a video before you guys. I think she was in the Augusta party fit check, saying, "Hey, that's the Spider-Man thing." So shout out to Madison for being in a video before Ty's in a video, you know. So for the podcast. So
that video was a hit. It was great.
Yep.
But just like to piggyback on the both of you guys, Tony, you said you had 30 plus years. Ty, you're going to add another 30 plus years to that too. So just tying both of you guys together in one spot at Keeney Park, like it just got to have that best, family atmosphere, that feeling of, like you accomplished something in your life that you loved to do. So just taking that 30 years that you have, Tony, and adding on another how many years, Ty, is just something unreal. And I also like the backdrop of Ty's change.
Ty went into the shop right now.
That was awesome.
So
You joined the game of the speakers.
It's pretty cool. I talked about the family, and you bring up Ty's wife, our precious daughter-in-law, Madison, who is a rock star in the industry. But, we're also to be part of the Nike family. We've got two PGA golf professionals with two different generations at Keaton Park, and you've got two elite Swoosh staffers at one facility who are a father-son duo, and we don't take that lightly, and we appreciate the brand and what they've done for golf and their imprint in golf for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the cool part for us too, is that we've been welcomed into that family a little bit, here and there, and we love the Swoosh, I think, more than most people, like if we have a podcast about it and all that stuff. But it's a fun thing to kind of see what they're doing, how they're helping their athletes and everything. We've had Carlos Brown on before when he was with Nike and seeing that. And I know you guys know Carlos and whatnot. So that's pretty cool with everything. So, give us a little bit of background on you being the national director for that time period and setting up, kind of what everything that went into that as much as you can.
So there are 41 PGA sections. They're like states, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of little sections in the Northeast, which is where we started, in New York and back 100 plus years ago. So our governance model is not that unique. There are 14 districts. So to become a national board member, you're called a district director. So I was the District 12 director, which meant that I represented Northern Texas PGA, Southern Texas PGA, and New Mexico. So that was my geographical region. So it's a 4-year responsibility. It's a 3-year term. So you shadow for a year on the board, and
That's
then
cool.
for 3 years you represent your constituency, and you're on the national board. So you're highly involved in our championships, all of our governance, and that whole process. So one of the highlights, certainly, of my career and the friendships that I've made. Just like anything else, we meet you guys at Augusta. Now, we're under the Nike. We're swooshers and we're golfers and lovers of the game, promoters of the game. Well, that happens too when you become a national board member. Your close friends are now all over the country.
Right.
So those are just incredible memories. On the board to be involved in that. I was fortunate. I had a bonus 6 months to my term. So my elected term would have been 2019 to 21. As I was shadowing Glenn Lee, who was the district director from Southern Texas section, he took a job halfway through the year in 2018 out of our district in Las Vegas at TPC Summerlin. So as he left, since he was no longer representing us geographically, then I was able to, I had the honor of serving and stepping in. And so I got Belle Reve in 2018.
Nice.
And Ryder Cup in Paris.
Pretty good.
So
pretty good. All right, gents, this has been awesome. We can keep talking, but we also have more stuff that we want to kind of have you chime in on. So we are going to push your socials. Follow at _Ty_my_shoe_. Man, could you make that harder to? I mean, Ty My Shoe is really good.
I was a sophomore in high school, bro.
And then at Tony Martinez PGA, all on Instagram, and at Keaton Park. So we're gonna do a little ranking of the things. So you guys want to stay on for a little bit and help us rank this pack from the PGA?
Yeah,
and then we'll get your picks. And so first off, before we do that, we do around the swoosh, and so we got to talk about Yurav Permal, the Straladom Cataluna champion, or we'll just call it the EDCC, because he won this past weekend, won by 14 shots on the DP World Tour. And so shout out Yurav Permal, rocking the swoosh out there. 14 shots is a lot. I think
that's a
I saw something where the only other one is Tiger winning by more, kind of thing. So congrats to him, and again, looked good in the swoosh, winning yesterday on the DP World Tour at the EDCC. I'm not trying to pronounce that name again for that championship. So that's around the swoosh. We got more coming up.
Hey, we're not sure if you pronounced it the first
I don't think so. I don't think I did. So all right, well, I'm going to share my screen. I'm not sure you guys are going to be able to see it or not, but we will do our best to kind of describe it as well, as I always do. But we've got the NRG pack coming out for the PGA, and this is the thing I love about most too with Nike, is that there's always sort of a major pack that comes out. And so this one I think is super strong. It's super clean. You know me, guys, I'm a big white shoe fan. I just love the clean look of a white shoe. So I'm digging these. We are getting, I believe, soon on the 14th. I think these are coming out. We are getting the Air Max 95. We are getting the Pegasus 1G, and we are getting the Nike Pro 4, aka the Scottie shoe as well. And so I've got these up here on my screen. On the 95, we've got this little nod to the Wanamaker and the leaves, that kind of the pattern that go all over the trophy. We're also getting this lost and found sort of callback. And so the story goes that back in the day, Keith, help me out here with who lost the trophy. I believe it was Walter Hagen, lost the trophy or left it in a cab, and then said, "Don't worry, I'm just going to win it again this year," which he proceeded to do. So this is the whole lost and found idea, coming through in the Philly area, Ronamink this year, all of that stuff. So like I said, we've got the 95, we've got some pictures here. We've got this little tight weave on the upper, with a little bit of couple different things. Then the the leaf pattern coming in, with some of this what we're calling hot lava, pink ish. I like it as like the hyper red or the infrared kind of colorway, as well. But we're going hot lava on the bottom. The hot lava kind of comes through on the Scottie, the Pro 4 a lot too in that midsole, with the fly plate having the detail of the shoe. For the Scottie, again, all of the bottoms of the shoes look great with the lost and the found. They used to do that a couple of years ago. We did that with like PGA,
And the Open too,
in
wasn't
the
it?
Open, all that stuff.
Remember
Yeah,
the
so
San
there's a
Francisco
lot of good
shoes?
stuff there. Yeah, San Francisco shoes,
Yep,
exactly. So,
that's right.
we also saw today, and the Peg one, I think, just looks awesome in this too. It's got the little like carbon fiber on the swoosh here. Not as many details as we get normally with these. Like sometimes we can dig into like detail after detail after detail on these shoes. But I think they still look really good. Like the lost and found, like the one-way trophy look in it. We see a little bit inside the on the footbed and the insole. We've got the Watermaker trophy saying found. We have a nod to the taxi cab in there as well. And then today we got a look at the Victory Tours as well. For Brooks rocking them. Keith, you posted those, I think, on our story today. So those are also pretty nice. I don't think they're coming to retail. There's always probably one that we always were like, man, I wish we got that for retail. But for the pack, let's rank them 1, 2, 3. Which ones you guys like the most as one, and then third as least. So this is the 95, the Peg 1G, and the Pro 4. Ty, kick it off for us.
You know, I was a sleeper on the Peg 1G. The Pegasus obviously came out a couple years ago, and just my personal opinion, wasn't super excited about the original Pegasus they came out with a couple years ago. But this new Pegasus was actually brought up to me by my customers, and they told me that we need to be looking at it, and I think it's awesome, and I can't wait for it to get here.
Yeah, we get to see this little sneak peek at the PGA show this year, and what they did. They worked with Tom Kim and some other athletes and got like feedback, and you'll see a colorway come out here soon, hopefully too, with like the feedback markings and all of that stuff. And I think just like seeing that and how they talk about it and how it was tested as like this comfort, like sort of blending the runner shoe into the golf shoe and like that type of performance, I just think is really strong. And so I'm excited to see how it keeps moving on throughout the year, and what they can do with it, because I think there's some really cool, like fun stuff that they can do with it as well. So
I think the soles
all
are
right, so you're
super
ranking
sexy.
1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, they are. I agree. So what do you think's best? What do you think's best in this pack?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, Tony.
It's not even close. 95's dunked hard.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I agree.
95's, and just based, I mean, I'm going to show my age. I want the 95's and a matching sweatsuit from 95.
Yeah. I like the 95s too. I think like if we were talking about which one's our favorite or which one we'd go with, it's definitely like the 95 for me. I think there's a lot of texture here that like truly like that shows out on this. So all right, 95's number 1 for you. Keith, how do you rank the rest of the pack?
Yeah, I love the simplicity of the colorways with the PGA pack here. It's really awesome to see. I love that we're getting 3 shoes. We're getting a cleated, a soft, and our molded bottom as well.
Yes, that's important.
Ty, I'm with you with a lot of people asking about the Pegasus, because I walked 20 holes down in Aikens in this one right here at the 21 club. 20
The
holes
double
in this,
stack.
and my foot didn't bother me at all. So it's a great comfort walking shoe. The pods on the bottom, the 4 pods, and you got the soft bottom in the back here. It's a pretty
I
cool
think a lot
design
of
to
times you
see,
got to
and it's cool
sacrifice
for us.
looks for comfort, and that's just a shoe that looks comfortable, but it looks great too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that we have like another option of like a semi spiked shoe. You know, it's the molded hard bottom shoe and everything. It just adds to our line a little bit. But I've always been a fan of the Scotties, the Pro 4s that Gummy's showing right now online. And I'm going this route. The 95s probably have the most detail on them. Like you said, Gummy, with the upper, with the webbing and everything.
Yeah.
But the mid right here on the Scotties is just your clean cut,
It's so
like the
nice.
wolf grayish. And then you have the Wanamaker leaf sketching on the fly plate, which is awesome. So I always like my spiked bottom, my actual spikes that you can take it out. So this is my number one for me right here is the Pro 4.
Yeah, I like the Pro 4 a lot. I think it's just super clean, little detail on the back, a little bit of silver, and I think like 95 is my choice, but I think like one of the stripes in here could have been just that like clean and not woven and just breaking it up a little bit, and that would have been really like popped off a little bit more. It kind of gets a little bit lost because it's a lot of woven, but I think it's a solid pack. I am intrigued to see if they come out with anything else, right? We did get a little bit of a shock drop on Dick's Sporting Goods of the double stack logo having some extra stuff to it. You can see behind Keith and I that we both picked up the putter covers from the double stack line. I also got the driver head cover and the towel. So I'm curious to see what else comes out. Normally we have like a hat and a shirt and anything like that. We haven't seen anything. I'm not sure we're gonna get anything at this point in time. Normally it's out a little bit, but I think we also don't go every major. There's sometimes a gap in between, and I believe like U.S. Open, we're gearing up for the Hamptons big time from Nike. I feel so. That's gonna be pretty cool. Down at Shinnecock, I think will be a really fun time. So solid pack. I'm excited about this. Starting to see him this week.
I like it because you know you brought out the detail and you did such a great job with that, and the stuff that Nike does on these energies and the detail and the backstory. It is so cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes you almost it's so like the no denim, like that's a hard shoe to wear.
Yeah.
But the story and the idea was so cool.
Oh, it's so good.
From Pebble. What I love about this drop is, man, those are weekly. You can rock those.
Oh yeah.
Mostly white, like you said, and the detail. They're all winners.
Yeah, and that hot lava is actually appears in a couple different items this year for Nike. So they've got the all over sort of shoe print from the Nike Par line in hot lava, and then I believe they have more of like the individual, much more spaced out shoe print as well. I think in the tailored, possibly, correct me if I'm wrong, Keith. And that's a little bit more like the stitched in one, also in like a hot lava stitching. So you could just walk those, and it's a really great summertime kind of colorway for them. So I'm excited about them. Again, like you said, Tony, I think they really transcend kind of like everything and not just the major. You're right. I have like the kilty one with the blue and the green and the orange from a couple years ago in Augusta. I think it was maybe it got pushed back, or it was the fall one or anything like that. And I'd have nothing to wear them with. If I was a Miami's Dolphin fan, I could wear them, but I'm not, and so they don't work that well for us. So
yeah, sometimes you gotta look for white laces, and all of these have white laces.
Yeah, that's it. So. Yep. But I think they're great. It's going to be a fun thing. We've seen them out on the course this week. They look good on the course already. Scottie rocking them, Brooks rocking them.
That's that's one thing I was going to say. It's nice to see everybody wearing. You know, some guys are picky, some guys are not. Some guys will rock them. It's cool to see pretty much everybody wearing the energy packs for this week at the PGA. We haven't seen Rory on the course yet, so we don't know if there's a Victory Tour 4.
I hope there's
there. I'm sure there will be.
That's my shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was interesting that we didn't see it in Augusta, right? Like, you didn't see him coming in, and we talked a little bit about it to people. We were on the tour truck. We got to talk on the tour truck, and hearing a little bit about their process with these athletes is interesting, and what they like. We know that, like, Scottie really likes to look down and see, like, a very clean white, like, shoe, and maybe I get that from him, or maybe he gets it from me. But I think it's, they do like try to accommodate that, and so I think I'm sure Rory is kind of in the same boat, that he just wanted to look down and see a very clean shoe. He did rock the green all week, which seemed very appropriate for him. So, all right, we're gonna stay on. We're gonna do a little bit of the winners circle, and so let us know your pick for this week's to be entered into season-long race, as we do every major and big influencer. So this week, we've said it all day, it is the PGA Championship, the 108th PGA Championship at Aronimink, just outside Philadelphia. And so you're seeing a lot of the Rocky, the Phillies, the Liberty Bell kind of come through. I think it was cool to see the story that Nike told with the Lost and Found. 1962 PGA, Gary Player won. Coincides with the United States semi-quincentennial. Oh my, how do you say that, Keith? He gave me all these notes ahead of time.
I was going to leave that one for you.
Yeah, semi-quincentennial celebration, and marks the 250th anniversary of America's founding in 1776 in Philadelphia. So that works out. We've got Alex Fitzpatrick, newly on the PGA Tour, Chris Goddard, Brooks Koepka, Bobby Mack, Rory, Scottie in the 156-man field, and top 100 players ranked in the world, with the 20 Corebridge Financial PGA professionals also playing in it. So we always like to pick the Nike guys. Obviously, you guys can go whichever route you would like. But who is your pick to win the PGA Championship this week at Aronimink Golf Club?
Ooh.
Tony.
You already heard mine.
Who's starting it
Tony.
off? Tony
Started off. Or Keith.
No.
Yeah. Ty White, Scottie.
It's got to be Scottie.
Scottie's the Nike family for.
Scottie's got to be our pick, just because we're here from Dallas. He's been out to Keaton a few times, most notably when he's caddying for his siblings.
Yeah, give us a Scottie story.
In Northern Texas PGA events out here. He's doing the Randy Smith tour out here in Dallas, which is just huge for us. And like, we can't thank the Schefflers enough for what they're doing here in Dallas for the game of golf. And then, just us personally, like I said, he's been out here to Keaton. He's caddied for his siblings. And just a Dallas figure that, we want to root for, a Nike figure that we want to root for. I got to witness him playing in high school. I was maybe a sophomore when he was a senior. And one of the most notable Scottie stories that I have is just playing against him in Highland Park at what they call Little Augusta, Texarkana Country Club. And I just remember that he had shot like a 64 and a 66. And, of course, that's just blowing the field out. And I played behind him, one group behind him, the second day of the tournament. It was a 2-dayer. And I just remember there being about 40 people following him, and they were all college scouts. It was before UT. It was before all of that. And, just to see the way he's grown, and to see him as a true Dallas guy, not just one of these tour guys that has moved to Dallas to be in a central location. He's a true Dallas guy, and he's putting money back into our community. And so while it sounds like an easy pick, and it is, it's we get a little bit of cushion on that pick because we are Dallas people.
I love it.
What a
Thank
story.
You for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's what we love.
On that topic, I would, if I go out of the Swoosh family, Jordan Speed,
to complete
Grand
it.
Slam, if we look at just what he's meant, to Dallas golf as well.
That's right.
Giving back to us, you're just pulling for him, for sure. But Scottie, I'm a huge Scottie homer, and I, I said it in Augusta. Got her up. I'm a got her up guy too.
I
That's
know,
great.
I know. I love a God rep. I don't know if you guys saw it today, but he
nails.
he posted a video, and I literally laughed my butt off because he was just like he took a chunk out of a Rodamink, and the divot went flying, and his caddy must have been standing there with the yardage book open, and the divot fell right on the yardage book and knocked it out of his hand, and they all look over, and I think he might have been playing with someone, and it just like just laughing.
just
They're
looked
like
at him
almost
and
on
just
the
started
ground.
giggling,
Yeah,
yeah.
like so I love a God ref. I think that's gonna be a sneaky pick this week. All right, so we got two Scotties from our
Two
guest this
Scotties.
week, which I think is super strong. So and I feel like everyone can look at Keith. If you're watching us on YouTube, please go watch us on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube as we try and keep growing that base. But if you're watching us, you might be able to sense where Keith is going with what he is wearing today.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Oh yeah.
It's a tough one. But back-to-back Masters Nike athlete. I think there's gonna be a back-to-back PGA. If it's Scottie, that'd be unreal. But I'm going Mock Koepka. Brooks Koepka. Hopefully he rocks this all 4 days again. And he's crowned his 4th PGA Championship. So I'm going Brooks Koepka. He had a good last week at the Myrtle Beach Classic down there, which was good to see him playing. He's playing a lot. He's enjoying it. That's another thing. He's enjoying it being back over here. So Brooks Koepka is my pick. So Gumby, who do you got?
I picked him dark horse a couple of times and made some money off of him, and so we're gonna go with it this week. I'm probably still gonna bet on Scottie because that's my guy, but and I like Scottie, if you're short a glove, I'm sorry. So we'll just leave it at that. But I'm gonna go with Bobby Mack. Bobby Mack is my pick this week. He's been playing great. He had a tough go at Augusta. We all saw the memes, but I think he bounces back this week for this major, and he's always like a good little pick because he's always up there in the top 5, top 10. Robert McIntyre is my pick for this week at the PGA Championship. If Matt was here, I feel like he would go with Rory or Scottie or Brooks. So you guys decide for Matt. And we'll go from there. So, gentlemen, we've kept you long enough, and we really appreciate your time tonight. This has been super fun. And we love hearing the stories and getting to know you guys better. We can't wait to someday make it down to Dallas and visit Keaton Park and get the Swoosh life out there for a round of golf, but also just to hang. We look forward to seeing you every year in Augusta. We will be seeing you on that back porch again next year for sure.
Well, always a blast hanging, and thanks for what you guys do for golf and what you do for the culture. We started talking about culture, and you guys are doing your part, and we're just glad to be in it with you, and just loving being part of the Nike family with y'all, and the larger golfing family.
Awesome. All right. So we definitely will. Keith, you got anything before I do all my little wrap up, little housekeeping at the end of the show like I always do?
No, just it's awesome to see this family tradition take off like it's been for 30 years. And like I said, I hope it goes on for another 30, 40 years with Ty. Just keep it going. It's awesome. And we can't wait to come down there sometime. It'd be awesome to get us all together again.
Yeah. All right. Finally, bluemaga.com. Use code swoosh20 for 20% off your next purchase. And as always, follow us at the Swoosh Life Podcast on Instagram. Help us get to 5,000. We are almost there. Another big giveaway. We did a giveaway around Augusta, and we got something big cooking for the U.S. Open. So you got to stay tuned for that, because I know that everyone is going to love that coming up, which is great. So follow us at Swoosh Life Podcast. I already said that. At GumbyQs, at Nike Golf KW, at _my_shoe_ for Ty, and at Tony Martinez PGA on Instagram for all of you guys. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Take care, y'all.
If you enjoyed today's episode, go follow us at the Swoosh Life Podcast on Instagram, where we have a lot more content. Watch us on YouTube at the Swoosh Life Podcast. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And make sure you keep listening to us on all the places that you can find your podcast, Apple, Spotify, and more. We'll see you in the next one. This has been the Swoosh Life Podcast.
Checks over stripes, yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, that's what we like. Yeah.